Well, hello and welcome back to Kenneth Boston Photography. Hope you're doing okay. We're still stuck right in the middle of winter here and cold outside. But we'll have some good photography days ahead, I'm sure, soon. Hope you're doing okay. This video today we're going to talk about taking pictures of bridges and water. I shared, how if you have Facebook, you're always reminded of something from a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever. And here the other day, a lot of the pictures of bridges that I took when I was in China had came up, and I said, well, that's a good topic because every community all around the world, if you have water and you probably have bridges, and you probably have ponds that's got trees, growing near them and things like that. And you can really make some good photography, but you got to do it smart. And for me, when I was, especially my last 3 years in China, I was in a city called Zhenjiang, and it was right. The Yangtze River was real near and had some real major historic parks and things like that. And I visited them weekly. If I was not in the classroom teaching those kids English, I was outside with my camera. And I learned all the good spots, around the city during this time. And one of the places I loved to go was called Jiaoshan. Jiaoshan Park. You had to take a little ferry across the Yangtze and go to this island, and it had a big kind of like a little mountain, and it was an island though, and temples and lots of real pretty places to walk. And the old people would go there every morning. They would get on the ferry and go to these places and run and play games and do calligraphy and all this. And when I first started going there, I was going there in the afternoons a lot, right after class. And anyhow, kind of make the long story a little shorter, Jiaoshan is full of these really pretty classic Chinese, these footbridges, and they're going over different little ponds and canals and things like that. And I started taking pictures of them. But what I started doing, some of those places in the afternoon looked pretty cool, but maybe didn't capture what I thought it could capture. And so I started going real early in the mornings and seeing what I could see. And what it is, what I'm trying to tell you is, every community around, you have something similar to this. And what you got to do, you got to visit these places. You got to map them out in your head, know where you want to go, have a purpose, and go visit these, places. It could be a cabin by the water, but the use of water and reflection is really powerful motivator, powerful, makes you think, a little bit more. You stare into a picture a little more when you have really good reflection. But to be smart and make the most of your time when you go visit these places, you need to do it all these different times during the day and realize what the sun is doing or how the light's coming in, which would be the sun. Stupid me. But anyhow, make notes. Every time you go there, take your regimen of pictures, different angles, and try to have, if you don't have one big park that has stuff like that, try to hit several little spots nearby. Make notations of creeks and rivers and things like that, and so you can get a variety of shots. And what you do, you keep a little notebook, okay? Keep a little notebook and write down those places and what time you were there. Then when you get home, when you put your SD card or whatever in the computer and you start looking at what you did, you'll start learning what time you need to go visit that spot to get this maximum, reflection, the crispness of the water, was it a calm day where there were ripples? A calm day is the best, really. Was the sun totally out? Was it, low clouds? You write down this stuff and know when you can get your best pictures. And that's what I started doing. I always had, I keep one camera on these little excursions. I just have my D5600 Nikon or 7200, whatever, one of my cameras. And I never really carried the ultra wide lens, usually a 35 millimeter, then something like a 70 to 300 or 55 to 300 zoom. That way, wherever I was standing, I knew I could probably get a good shot. And, but I learned just by using these notebooks what time of day, that I needed to be at a certain spot. One bridge might look really awesome at 9 o'clock, or something like that. And what I'm getting at, when you shoot a bridge, you got the bridge, then you got the reflection coming in toward you. If it's going away from you, it's not really doing anything, and you're just dependent on the bridge and whatever the background is. But if you have beautiful background, nice bridge, and the reflections are sharp, crisp, and clean reflections, and you get practice with your different distances, all of a sudden you might kick off one of those masterpieces, or, for you it'd be a masterpiece. But you got to plan, think and plan. And what I'll do, I'll show you. I'll put some pictures that I took. A couple of them are in my new book. If you've seen me probably talk about the new book. But kind of pay attention to the type of shots that I was shooting, and think about places near you that you can do this also. This is a good way to pass your time, especially when photography is slow, like right now with COVID virus and all these kind of things. You can still have something to do and keep expanding your photography, make it worth it. But big thing is find you some places, visit them at different times, see when you get the best photos. All right. So that's it for today. Just a little bit of stuff for you, and we'll see what we'll talk about next time. Okay. But take care. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.